Hello everybody, JP Moss here. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for following me. Thank you for your support. The skeptics or disinformers are busy making the argument that aliens just can't look humanoid in any way at all. That they must be non-human looking, unreal, bizarre, and too advanced to be anywhere close and near to humankind here on Earth for any possible contact whatsoever. Really, how would they know this so assertively? One of the biggest lies you get from them in this cover-up is the most obvious one of all. You, the human race, as a species, is not so unique in form, shape, and thoughts. Once you get convinced by their argument, you will simply not believe in any way at all in any of the disclosure coming down from the whistleblowers like David Grush. And the disinformers are already busy picking holes in David Grush's statement, where he leaves out what they look like. So they filled in the gaps with that nonsense I've seen on news articles on YouTube and where not, that they just couldn't be humanoid, that this is just too Star Trek, just couldn't be humanoid. It just can't be. They're just too aliens would just be masses of clouds and energy, or so advanced they never even deal with us. Well, yeah, those are out there. So they're trying to remove you from a category of thinking we'll put it in three levels. Ones that are probably below the human race but exist and are intelligent. Those at second level, your level, but kind of be humanoid or anthropomorphic or like you. And the third level being the most advanced, and they exist and are in fact out there, but they wouldn't deal with you. Whistleblower David Grush goes public declaring aliens and vehicles are real, and then we suddenly see what could be disinformation agents creating huge events now running across the internet. Purpose of this is so that in a short time they will pull the cover off the fake events and in detail then tell the public it was a hoax. But one they, the human elements running to keep the secret, have created. I would advise any news events that are sudden, claiming aliens are landing in your backyard and you can see the aliens standing around garden equipment, do not repost or follow. These stories will be explained away soon and then cause any who follow this discredited along with disclosure as a whole. Also, there have been a number of reports of Facebook accounts are being hacked. What people like myself go on to try and show the public is that those of us that claim to have contact with non-human beings, that we can demonstrate with evidence that this can be done without, read me again, without any U.S. government connection or involvement. Defined as, we don't need them to say this is real for any of us to show you this is very real. My experience, as many have seen, these revelations can sometimes sadly be disinformation projects, and like a fisherman that casts his hook into the water with nice sweet bait on the hook, many will bite this. So far, this looks to be the genuine disclosure we have all been waiting for from David Grush, and good deal for them and the rest of the world. We, the experiencers, do not need them to do this for the case of proof. For my own case, however, I have been debating on whether or not my own public platform on this matter may or may not be tenable anymore. I went public in 2012, as stated before, here on my wall in a form of activism for what I recall to be a victim of a crime. The victim here is defined as a non-human person that I had seen was in the custody of some form of unknown military unit that brought her to me to Texas, for reasons known only to them. I knew from the beginning that when this would come to public attention, that in fact aliens are here, and all the rest, as many have heard in recent news releases, that there are non-human vehicles in the possession of various governments. That if this all starts to come out, in my own case, would possibly mean that my own public activism with my own experience long ago would possibly no longer be tenable. Morally, my objectives have been met. The more it comes out and the more publicity I receive, and including book sales, the more I question the moral argument on receiving any further gains in this. It was and always will be for this girl. My ongoing contact or alleged contact with her is not and never was based on whether or not I am public or have anyone believed this account, whether I'm in the public or not. What I mean by ongoing contact, defined as my claim that I've often said that I can, you call it psychic connections or feelings from this girl. This might be some consequence of interacting with a non-human person that has excessive psychic ability. But we won't go down the pan on that. Let's focus on what started this to begin with in 2012. As you can see in my YouTube videos over 11 years ago, the first videos that came out, I don't have a beard, I look a lot younger, and I began crying excessively when I began to recount the experience of what I saw. The only way to define this is a MILAB, a military abduction experience, as I've said before for the last 11 years. And I have never tried to say that I'm special, unique, or someone of interest, that the military, that is why they brought her to me. According to my research over the years, my government has been doing this sort of thing to just ordinary people, the public, for many years, taking these alien occupants from vehicles and forcibly putting them in front of members of the public on dark streets and alleys and in fields out in the middle of nowhere. And we can only guess at the reason why they're doing this. Is it to watch and monitor public reaction and psychology to alien contact? Memories were then somehow subdued in me. They have a technology I have confirmed exists through research. It is a taser, a very low voltage taser. You get police tasers that are 20, 50, 60,000 volts. Apparently they have a device no bigger than something like that. It's like a 9-volt battery powered thing with maybe 10 or 20 volts. If they put it to the side of your head where the memory centers are in your mind on either side, and they shock you, it can be very painful. It can make you want to throw up. It can make you sick and dizzy. You will go to sleep, and you'll wake up the next day with a headache as if having a hangover, but you won't remember not just the night before, but say the last few weeks are going to be a bit hazy. Now, in time, your mind fills in the gaps, and it just didn't happen. It's the same thing as having a hard hangover, only it's electrically induced. And so, guys, this isn't alien technology. I mean, I've researched this. There have been whistleblowers that have gone to Congress and said this thing exists. It's a damn thing. It's horrible. You should not be putting these things in people's heads. I remember that thing being put to my head. And so the memory was then subdued. Now, what I think happened was, while I've been living in England, I'll give you a very prosaic and down-to-earth explanation. I could sit here and say aliens help bring the memories back. I think what happened, and the most basic explanation would be that maybe people like me, they come out to ever so often and they keep zapping us without us knowing. Walk into the store, they hit us again. So in other words, it keeps it suppressed. Maybe they don't. It may just be that living in England all these years, I was away from my government, away from the elements of my government. I've been out of my government. I've been living in England. I'm an American. And I think it's quite possible that the memories just simply resurfaced on their own. In 2010, when they initially resurfaced, that would have been about 25 years after the experience. They just came back on their own. Amnesia does... People with amnesia, for whatever reason you've got it, the memories will resurface on their own in time, but it takes many, many years. especially if it's electric shocks or concussions or blows to the head. If it's drinking related, you'll get the memories back within a month or 2 months or even a year. But if it's a blow to the head or electric shocks of any kind, you won't get these memories back for many years. And if they're on a path to keep doing this to a subject, then you're never going to get them back. So you just consider yourselves lucky I remember anything at all. Had these never come back to me at all, obviously I would have never even done any of this in the last 12 years. And my life would have taken a different turn. So when the memories came back, it wasn't just that there was this alien girl. We've got some unknown military unit that brings her to me to Texas. We lived in a courtyard in a mobile home park. The mobile home across the street was empty. My neighbor to the corner of us was an older gentleman that he had very bad hearing, so he couldn't hear anything. His windows were completely blacked out with tint glass because he didn't like the lights coming down the road shining on his mobile home. Then it was just my mom and stepdad. My sister had already moved out. Stepbrother and stepsister had already moved out. The stepdad was already in bed. So there was whatever happened to the mother in the caravan. Argument for debate on that. What I saw happen prior to them showing up to the courtyard. She just seems to fall asleep. I looked in the caravan. She just fell asleep. As I said 12 years ago, it's the same narrative, same account. I was outside listening to my Walkman, as I always did. Sat outside all night. I was in my 20s, and I was in the mother's front side yard. We had a 3-foot high chain link fence go around the entire 200-foot property. And I like going out there at night. And like I said, I looked, there was a screen door. If you don't know what those are, you got 2 doors in Texas, a front door and you got a glass door. So the front door was open. There was a glass door, and I saw mother pass out on the couch. Rather curious, what's going on with that? It wasn't even late in the evening. What she just fall down. Before I could even get in there, a series of Range Rovers, or blacked out RVs, about 8 or 9 of them, entered into the courtyard immediately. How she was able to fall out the way she did is beyond me. I don't know if they had go with us, an alien that somehow could project to her, make her pass out. So essentially, this courtyard, there is no one around. Now, this isn't without witnesses. The case was researched and investigated. I will not give names. There was a police officer at the time that witnessed these people in my courtyard during his patrol. The officer I've spoken to in the last 12 years confirmed it, that in fact he saw them in my courtyard and they wouldn't let him down to me. He kept saying, "This is my city, let me see. I know Jason, he's been a firefighter, let me down there." They wouldn't. He said whoever they were military, they were all in khaki and uniforms, and they were heavily armed. He kept asking for identification, as any police officer would, but they wouldn't give any. There's been at least 1 or 2 people that were in that unit that have come forward since and have been speaking and said, yeah, we were there at that property with him. There has been an investigation some years ago in the UFO disclosure people that don't know me. There was an interview with a man that worked in the intelligence community a few years ago that had stated categorically that, yes, we do. There is a program where we've been taking non-human occupants or aliens, if you will, that we've taken from these vehicles to members of the public. And the man interviewing says, why? He says, I can't speak any more about that. He said, is it still ongoing? I can't say. It might still be ongoing. The program is still going. They call it the program. So it doesn't mean I was some special dude they did this with. I was nobody. So, but the girl and I, there's a longer story to this. We had some kind of connection. We connected. Maybe out of fear, she was reaching to me. She had every feeling all of you have. And all the feelings and fears and thoughts that you have. And I could feel everything she was feeling. Everything was being projected. She was somehow telepathic, thought projecting, and connected with me. And maybe that was to help her through her victimization experience. And so we connected, and like I said, it's a longer story. Look at my videos for the whole account. I know some of this you may find completely unbelievable. If that didn't sound unbelievable. So so there it is. That's in brief right there. And so when these memories all came back, I decided in 2012, let's go active, let's go public. And this is an activism to stop this. These are people of some kind. They may not be citizens, but they have rights. And these rights will not be infringed upon just because there's a difference in not just race, but species at this point. At this point, as I said earlier, now that with disclosures coming up from David Charles Grush, and it's becoming more apparent that this is starting to wake up, and there now are forces at work within the government, it looks like, trying to hack Facebook accounts, begin to create fake UFO alien landings in backyards, and get people to, yeah, let's follow that story. Then they suddenly, I've been in it so long, I know what they're going to do. They're going to go, nope, that's all fake. We all created that. It's a hoax. So in other words, they're going to try to make you think David Grush is a hoax and hack his story apart. So there's elements in the government trying to come forward. There's elements running to go, hush, hush. For their own reason and purpose, they're doing this. For me personally, I'm in a deciding phase on what to do. And, without giving names or anything like that, I won't do this. But there's I've been confiding in someone very special that has been telling me, wait a minute before jumping out of this just yet. Hold on a minute. And so I will never, I'm very private. I am private. What you get on any social media is about this subject matter. It's not about my private life and never will be. I think some people get intimidated by me and go, God, you put all that out there. Oh, you're going to be putting me out there too. No, I do not do that. I don't put anybody out there. Everything is strictly confidential. And so I'm kind of listening to someone who's maybe right. I'm in a deciding phase. Like I said, the point of the activism was to bring attention to something that needs to stop. Don't mistreat these beings. Stop doing this. Okay? There's going to be a lot of disinformation to suggest that, in fact, they're evil, dangerous, are here to destroy the world. That's a lie. I believe this girl from long ago. I felt her feelings. I don't believe... you ever want to know if someone's telling the truth or lying? What if you met someone that could project all their thoughts and feelings to you all at once? There, you got it all. And if you could do that with someone, you would know without a doubt for the rest of your entire life, they're not a liar. And I wish sometimes I could project telepathically thoughts and feelings into some people in my life. They would know I'm not a liar. But I can't do that. But this being could, she could. So I have no doubt they are peaceful. I have no doubt you have no need to fear. I can't speak for every alien civilization visiting Earth. I think from their side of the argument, on her defense and their civilization, you have no need to fear. So with that said, I'm in a deciding phase on whether or not... I haven't been posting on YouTube in a long, long time. My books are still selling out there. And to receive any further funding... like I said, the more it comes out, the more publicity, this is real, the more I question the moral argument on receiving any further gains in this, to get famous or become more wealthy. This is a victim, and if you can doubt she exists, but look, this is a victim. And I'm defending a victim that to me literally was very frail and had absolutely no one to stand by her. She had absolutely zero rights legally on the entire planet because no one even believes they exist. So they're getting away with carte blanche, whatever the hell they want with them. And I said, you're not going to do that. I'll throw it all in the pan. I will throw my life on the line. I will throw my reputation down in the name of this person. Who identified herself to me as Benico, but that she said they don't have a language and they don't have names, but she said, you can call me Benico. There's a longer story and a deeper story behind why she said call her that. It came from a lot of deep stuff. Like I said, these beings get into pretty heavy stuff. And quickly, I just want to say the origin of the name Benico is Japanese. And she has full memory of having lived in Hiroshima, Japan, before it was bombed by a nuclear weapon in 1945. She was a young girl in Japan. And this isn't a ghost or anything like that. What happened was when that thing detonated, it created some kind of a portal over Hiroshima. The same would have happened over Nagasaki. You can't detonate these things over human beings. Now, another reason for the big cover-up is that these aliens that they pulled down in these UFOs are saying to the intelligence officers, hi, we're reincarnated from some dead humans. We can have the technology to take human souls and put into alien-human hybrid babies. Wow, really? That's wow. Now, where do they come from? Well, because they're from another dimension. A lot of this higher alien race that made them is from a higher dimension. This gets into heavy physics beyond me. When you detonate, this becomes a very anti-nuclear message. The whole Benico message becomes a very anti-nuclear war message, and a disarmament message, and a message about peace, and a message about getting rid of all nuclear weapons on Earth. Because if you detonate these things over human beings, these higher aliens in the higher dimension have some kind of a contract. You're opening a portal. Every time you detonate a nuclear weapon, you're opening a portal, a gate. At the center of the detonation of this superheated 1,000,000 Fahrenheit, there's a gate that opens. And that gate goes into this higher dimension. See, the idiots who build these bombs are primitive. They know how to build them, but that's it. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're messing with. And the nuclear weapons explode, may cause what these primitive humans want, which is mass destruction. But they're also at the center of the explosion, a massive gate opens up. And the higher dimensional aliens simply look through this window. What's this? A door's opening. And a lot of these people came up. And she was one of them. And they gave her a new life as this alien-human hybrid person. So she doesn't go by the name Benico anymore. But that was her name. So I said, okay. She was a Japanese girl. And it's a weird kick in the teeth. Imagine the American intelligence when they went to open up those spaceships and UFOs when they landed and crashed. And the occupants stepped out with bizarre stories of souls. They sound like Tibetan monks or something like Hindus. And they're like, we've been migrating souls around. We've been using human souls to put in these babies, all this business. And imagine their shock when a lot of these alien hybrids stepped off and said, we were in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Surprise. That's a bite in the ass, isn't it? Oh, what? They would have been like, oh, what? And these beings would have said, yeah, we're not just alien human hybrids. This one's coming up to bite you in the ass, guys. Here it comes. We remember unlike other reincarnated people who go, I think I was in another country as a knight in England. They have full memory. When they put them into these new bodies, they had full memory. This is some people are drinking. This is pretty heavy stuff. But we're dealing with advanced civilizations that have been around for millions of years, so they don't really take a big notice of this. Like, so? You humans are primitive. You think death is the end, right? Well, you keep thinking what you want. So that I can see some of the need for the cover-up for some of this is like, it's too much for people to take on board. You're like, oh, if we let this out of the bag and let people know about it, are they going to not tell the public? Well, we don't know what they're going to tell the public. Hey, public, you can come back as one of us. people are like, panic attack. And you start questioning. You get ontological shock. You get into a question about the nature of reality and what does it mean to be alive and consciousness and what is the now purpose of life and why are we here? And oh, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'll be back in a minute. Stop it. Stop it. No, look. All I had was love and feeling a good love and comfort from her. It's all good stuff. And there's no need to fear anything. She was a sweet girl. But by definition, no, not a human. No. But all in all, they're not forcing this down your throat. Look, human beings want to go public. That's your business. Eventually, this will come out. As she told me, the 2020s, it would come out. You see it in my videos many years ago. The 2020s, it's all going to come out. And it is, because she told me that. And she said, we won't force this on people that aren't ready. We know the psychology. We know people need their comfort zone. We would never violate that. One day it will come out. Now, there are some loopholes in their contract about when to make contact. And one very important thing they won't do is try to remove your belief system or make you try to believe their way or follow their government. They're going to say to you, follow the law, follow your government, obey the laws of your world. Even if you don't like them, obey them. Respect the rights of others and respect them and love them. And, and don't look, you're only here watching this because you chose to. I didn't force this on you, Even some people I love and care about and I get around, I often, most of the time, don't bring it up around them. I don't talk about it. But what's there to talk about? I don't go flying around in spaceships and hang out with them. How you doing? We were flying around today, but Nico and the others. We'll be doing a Lake Tahoe visit on the 17th, and on the 21st, we'll be in Vegas doing a fly around. And then we're going to be going on a Ringling Brothers Circus, demonstrating my alien contactness. No, I'm not doing that. What I am saying to you is this was a whistleblowing to put a stop to harming them, okay? Regardless of their... Look, that's her claim, that she was this is maybe her belief system. Maybe she wasn't anything. She's an alien girl, thinks she was a human in a past life, A lot of people I've met think there are lots of things from a past life. A tree, a cat, a dog, Why would we take it so seriously? Why? Because she's an alien girl saying it? Oh, come on, really? You were... Alien girl said it, so it must be true. Well, no, I am in a deciding phase. If I retire from this, I may leave the books out. I love my friends out there. I love you all. Thank you for being involved with me. I've had a Facebook account I haven't been able to deal with in ages. And I've got access to the YouTube channel. Like I said, I just get lazy. I don't want to deal with it. And I finally get around to it. So it wasn't just Facebook. It was my email account. It was everything. But there's been some progress with that in recent times. Anyhow, look, sticking to point on this. This is what I'm deciding. Is it really tenable to continue with this? The moral objective has been achieved. Okay, the victim's dignity has been respected, and once the government starts to say, yeah, you know what, we've got the alien bodies and the spacecraft they were in, we admit it. Okay, David Charles Grush, Grush, look it up. David Charles Grush, look it up. David Grush, and it's all being backed up. It's being validated. It's backed up what he's saying. Then legally, morally, ethically, I have to think about that. I am a former search and rescue second captain navigator. My call sign was KJM 8007 of the Once Upon a Time North Central Texas Search and Rescue, in which I was with them for 5 years. Prior to that, I grew up in the fire service as a junior firefighter from age 16, 17, 18, briefly National Guard, Army, 6 months training. I went through basic and AIT to be a mechanic. Ooh, whoopee. So I wear this patch to the United States Army. That's more to remember the people I briefly served with that were coming out of the Gulf War. I'm not a Gulf War veteran, but that's just, I've been thinking about a lot of men and women I saw then coming home from that war in 91. And I came back to the fire service for about a few years, and I went into search and rescue for another 5. So we went through the Robert's Rules of Order, was a bylaw and Bible to us. We went through a lot of training, National Association Search and Rescue. We went through FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency training, of which I have 8 diplomas in emergency management. I hold an intermediate diploma in wildland firefighting and a basic fire certification. I could get a job here in England fighting fires. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, well, I could. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. It's a little bit much. I'm not doing that. I think in my old age at 51, I'm getting a little, how did I do that then? I did what? Really? No. But there inside of me, the core element is the officer that says, I'm duty bound to do something right. I'm duty bound. I have been laughed at, scorned, mocked, humiliated, and made fun of for a long time. And now this is coming to light. And obviously, people in England, there have been, have been looked at by the authorities, and I think this guy might be, maybe we should lock him up, Well, it's all coming to light. And now comes a point where you start to think, am I at the end of the trail? Is it time to retire? Is the sun setting on this? 12 years, Jason. 12 years? I think it's like that Ozzy Osbourne song, The Road to Nowhere Leads to Me. And he says in the lyrics, the wreckage of my past keeps haunting me. It won't leave me alone. And literally, I'm standing on that road again as they hurt that poor girl in front of me. And no, she's not human. She's humanoid. As I said before, 4'6" tall, larger elliptic eyes that kind of went around her head a bit, black hair, very straight, 4 finger digits, not 5 like us, in some kind of a spandex black uniform with a blue triangle offset on like a symbol on the side. And I guess the road to nowhere kept leading to me. I think it might be finally, it's finally over. I think we're nearing the end. I think with this, they're bringing it out. And it was all for her, it wasn't me. And it may be time. I'm thinking on this, I'm debating on it. To call it a day. But I'll let you know. It's been a long road. Thank you for watching. This is author J.P. Moss. I'll update you later.